We bring you the midday edition of MBC News with me, Sifatim Susa. The headlines. President Mutharika set to hold talks with the Deputy Prime Minister of Luxembourg, who jets in the country today. The Ministry of Education implores Malawi National Examinations Board to administer leakage-free examinations this year. And Vanessa Sisters Reserve crowned champions of the inaugural Mukuru Under-21 National Netball Cup. Well, thank you for joining us. President Arthur Peter Mutharika will preside over the swearing-in ceremony of Simon Itaye as Minister of Industrialization, Business, Trade and Tourism tomorrow. A statement from the Office of the Chief Secretary indicates that the ceremony will take place at Kamuzu Palace in Lilongwe at 11 o'clock in the morning. Itaye replaces George Partridge, who was recently appointed Governor of the Reserve Bank of Malawi. President Mutharika is set to hold talks this afternoon with the Deputy Prime Minister of Luxembourg. The Deputy Prime Minister, Xavier Bettel, who will be in the country from today the 2nd to the 4th of February, will also hold discussions with senior government officials. Xavier Bettel, apart from being Prime Minister, he is also that country's Foreign Affairs Minister, Foreign Trade, Development Cooperation and Humanitarian Affairs. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, in a statement, says the visit will also see the signing of a general cooperation agreement. These engagements are expected to further strengthen existing bilateral relations and cooperation between the two countries. Now, Minister of Education Bright Msaka has implored authorities at the Malawi National Examinations Board (MANEB) to administer leakage-free examinations this year. Msaka disclosed this to journalists in Zomwe after meeting with officials from MANEB at their headquarters on the state of preparedness to administer examinations. Charles Chindongo has details in this report read by Eleni Chimoyo.
For the first time, MANEB will administer this year's Junior Certificate of Education (JCE) and Primary School Living Certificate of Education (PSLCE) examinations concurrently. Speaking in an interview with MBC, Education Minister Brighton Saka expressed satisfaction with the level of preparations for this year's examinations. He has since implored MANEB to deliver the national examinations leakage-free.
That's critical, and it's very, very critical. The moment that we have exams that have been undermined by leakage, then the integrity of the certificates that come from that exam is undermined. And therefore, the very essence of an exam is that everyone is at equal footing at the point of writing the exam. Everybody is seeing the examination paper for the first time. And that, I have been assured, will happen this year like they did last year. We didn't get reports of leakages. Sometimes people deliberately leak a fake examination paper, but that's human nature. There is a law also against such kind of mischief.
Meanwhile, Executive Director for MANEB, Professor Dorothy Nampota, said her institution will start administering JCE during the first week of June before rolling out Standard 8 exams a week later. She backed the new arrangement, saying it will help to reduce time learners wait for examination results before proceeding to secondary school.
We are indeed this year going to start with JCE examinations on 1st of June up to 10th of June, while PSLC examinations will be administered from 8th of June to 10th of June. We've made the slight change for two reasons. One is that the feedback that we received from the public and as well as the Ministry of Education that when we have primary school examinations in May, we reduce the contact time that the students have with their teachers. So they asked us to see if they can have more contact time and we start examinations later. The second reason Largely the reason is that one, that we want to increase contact time. The second reason, of course, feedback that we got was that when we administer examinations early, the students, the girls or the children have a long of time to wait for September.
Nsaka was in the southern region on a tour of duty.
Deputy Minister of Health and Sanitation, Charles Chilambula, has commended the Global Fund for supporting government's efforts in improving the health sector in the country. Chilambula made the remarks in Lilongwe during the commissioning of a gas plant which has been installed with support from the Global Fund at Ibaira Hospital. Details in this report by Madalito Mhango.
Speaking when he commissioned the gas plant at Ibaira Hospital in Lilongwe, Deputy Minister of Health Charles Chilambula said the plant will enhance the provision of critical health commodities, including oxygen support to mothers and babies at the facility, thereby improving maternal and neonatal health. Chilambula added that the government will now save costs from procuring medical gases at the facility.
We have timely oxygen available to us, and then it has also reduced the budget of drugs because we used to buy this and the cost was so high. About 500,000 kwacha just to get one cylinder, and this facility uses a lot. Even in Queen Elizabeth and Gamu Central Hospital have been assisted by the coming in of this gas plant.
Director of Health and Sanitation Services for Lilongwe District, Dr. Wilson Nkhani, says the facility assists 8 babies with oxygen support daily.
On average, in 24 hours, for example, our nursery is having a capacity of, we admit about 80 babies who are admitted in this nursery, and the majority of them, they need the oxygen as a supply. So that's the amount of babies who need at least this important facility which is having here.
Apart from commissioning the gas plant at Bwaila, the Deputy Minister also commissioned gas plants and incinerators at Mzuzu Central Hospital and the Kasungu District Hospital. Member of Parliament for Kasungu Municipality, Noro Nkubwi, hailed government and the Global Fund for the plants and incinerators, saying they will strengthen healthcare services at the facility.
You would remember that when we had COVID-19, some of our patients died because they didn't access gas within the time that they were supposed to have been treated. So I'm of the view that with this gas plant, will save more lives which would have been lost because of the delays that were there transporting from Kasungu District Hospital to where they would get the gas.
Deputy Manager for Global Fund and the Gavi Program Implementation Unit, PIU, Rhoda Banda, said the Global Fund will remain committed to supporting the government in improving health infrastructure and strengthening the country's health systems.
The Global Fund is a funding mechanism. It supports governments. So in terms of criteria, we base on the need from the government. So it will be the Ministry of Health that will say, for this initiative, we want it in this facility. So we tow along.
Government, with funding from the Global Fund, has constructed gas plants at Bwaila, Mangochi, and Kasungu hospitals at a cost of 6.6 billion kwacha. The government has also constructed incinerators at Kasungu and Mzuzu Central Hospitals. Madalito Muhango, MBC News, Lilongwe.
Government has described dietetics as crucial therapy in the fight against malnutrition in the country. Speaking during Nutrition and Dietetics Symposium for final year students at Kamuzu University of Health Sciences, Acting Coordinator on Clinical Dietetics in the Ministry of Health, Teresa Columbus, clarified that, among others, dietitians help to guide the appropriate diets to improve health of individuals. This is part of what she said.
Through dietetics, we provide nutrition care, not only for the patient, but for the human being. So it's there for proper growth and development. And then if the child or the person has grown well, the cognitive even development is there. So the child or the person can be even intelligent in class, as well as they can contribute to the community very well, other than the one who is nutritionally compromised. Dietetics is based on evidence-based interventions, whereby we wait for the researchers, whereby even the WHO recommends whatever the dietitians are providing to the patients.
And representing Kamuzu University of Health Sciences is Charles Mangani, head of department, who expressed optimism that the students have been equipped with necessary skills and knowledge to meet the demands.
For us, it's a pioneering group in the sense that they are the first group trained with a bachelor's degree in Malawi. That will be coming out of the university to practice. But though they're a pioneering group, I think as a department we were well equipped to train them and also the university, because it's not only the department that does the teaching, but also other departments assist us. So we were well equipped to give them the right background, scientific background, and for the past 2 years now they've been going into the hospitals to practice, and fortunately within the Ministry of Health structure, like here at Queen's, we have had dietitians who graduated before, so they have been helpful in supervising the students also. So I know, and I don't even feel, but I know that they'll be ready to go and practice in a few months. Yeah.
Police in Lilongwe have arrested former Minister of Agriculture Sam Kawale. National Police publicist Laero Chintembo has confirmed the development. He says Kawale surrendered himself to police in the morning. Chintembo says Kawale will be taken to court later. In a related development, Chintembo also said Sosten Gwengwe, former Minister of Finance, arrested yesterday, will be taken to court once all necessary procedures are finalized. This is MPC News, a reminder of our top stories. President Mutharika set to hold talks with the Deputy Prime Minister of Luxembourg, who jets in the country today. The Ministry of Education implores Malawi National Examinations Board (MANEB) to administer leakage-free examinations this year. And in sport, Vanessa Sisters Reserve crowned champions of the inaugural Mukuru Under-21 National Netball Cup. Welcome back. Now, Press Corporation Limited has provided a borehole to the people of Njereza village under Senior Chief Kasisi in Chikwawa in appreciation for protecting trees that the community planted in the 2024-2025 tree planting season. Press Properties General Manager Andrew Sante said they took a different approach in recognizing communities that are caring and protecting trees after noticing that most trees that are planted every year barely survive due to negligence. We have a report.
Every year, government launches a tree planting season, an effort to restore environmental dignity while trying to prevent climate change challenges. However, most of the trees that are planted barely make it beyond a year. This is what prompted Press Corporation and its group of companies to approach the initiative differently by honoring communities that have protected trees that were planted in the last season, according to Press Properties General Manager Andrew Sante.
We are indeed awarding the people that, as you are rightly putting it, are supposed to actually take the responsibility of taking care of these things. But as you can agree with me, there are initiatives, a lot of initiatives that have happened in this country where you find the people that were supposed to be responsible for taking care of them have not even started to take care of them. So that's why we thought of incentivizing those that are taking care of these things. Our hope is that perhaps the communities around can start to see the benefits, the larger benefits of taking care of nature. As we said earlier on, trees, there is a lot that trees can do if we take care of them.
Chikwawa District Forestry Officer Hector Nkawihe said celebrating survival rate of planted trees is important as it encourages efforts of environmental restoration.
Yeah, this is very significant in the sense that tree planting only is not enough. But the main point is how many trees have survived, or how many trees do we have. Therefore, this event is very significant in the sense that it has brought into people's attention that what matters most is not tree planting, but it is how many have survived. Therefore, people will take care of the trees they planted even last season and the seasons to come.
Meanwhile, representative of the winning village, Lucius Kolopete, attributed the success to community commitment in defeating climate challenges.
Collectively, we managed to plant and take care of the trees that we received from Press Corporation, and with the support from the village heads, community members, all along the way. We have been imaged as number one in the district. So we really relied on support from the community. That's why we matched on position number one.
Out of the 2,000 trees Njereza village planted last season, 1,755 trees survived, representing 89%. The village made it on position 1, Waumitori Primary School made it on position 2, and Kikwawa Secondary School scoped position 3. Rashida Matandika, MBC News.
The National Bank of Malawi has taken a step to boost Blantyre City Council's capacity in keeping the city clean by donating sanitation and hygiene equipment worth 15 million kwacha. The move is expected to protect both the council staff as well as residents of the city from waterborne diseases such as cholera. Temba Mwale has compiled this report.
Recent statistics from the Public Health Institute of Malawi indicate that since 11 December 2025, Malawi has recorded 62 confirmed cases of cholera with 2 deaths reported. As the number of confirmed cases continue to rise in the country, National Bank of Malawi has donated 15 million kwacha worth of sanitation and hygiene equipment to Blantyre City Council. National Bank of Malawi Head of Corporate Banking, William Chatala, says the gesture is part of the bank's corporate social responsibility, which, among others, focuses on promoting safe and sustainable environments.
As a bank, we have a corporate social investment policy. We invest in various areas of health, education, environmental management, infrastructure development, etc. So last year we put together a pool of 200 million to support some of the country's city and district councils. For Blantyre City Council, they opted for sanitation equipment, which is what you saw us donating today.
Receiving the donation on behalf of the council, Mayor for Blantyre City, Isaac Jomo Osman, said the donation has come at a time the city is facing various challenges such as lack of sanitation equipment.
As you know, this time that we are passing, we have a lot. People are waiting for us to give them good services. So we are looking forward for people also to come in and help us. You know, we have the challenges of materials. So when people come in and donate something to us, we will appreciate for their donation.
Blantyre City is one of the councils prone to waterborne diseases, among other reasons being overpopulation. Temba Mwale, MBC News, Blantyre.
Now, Salvation for All Ministries has encouraged people to support households that have been affected by hunger and the recent floods. Leader of the church, Apostle Clifford Kawinga, was speaking when he distributed maize to 4,000 families in the areas of Senior Chiefs Nkhani and Kalimanjira in Nkhotakota. Alongside the distribution of relief items, the church also conducted prayers, acknowledging that God alone is the source of restoration and hope. Chipinon Tumods with the details.
Nkhotakota is among the districts that have been affected by hunger and most recently floods. Thousands flocked to receive a life-changing bag of maize and an uplifting sermon from Apostle Clifford Kawinga of Salvation for All Ministries. Speaking after the service, Apostle Kawinga said he's passionate about supporting the underprivileged because he himself grew up poor as an orphan and often slept on an empty stomach. He therefore said it should be everyone's primary responsibility to support such causes regardless of how much one might have.
This responsibility is for everybody. Let's take part. Giving is not about too much money that one has in his bank account, in his pocket. No. But it's something that comes from the inner heart. You should always feel the way people are feeling. If you once slept without food, with an empty stomach, that was not just a story, but it was something that you should keep, that you can always remember when somebody is also going through such. You can feel the same way someone is feeling.
Kawinga says in order to help households become financially independent, food secure and avert hunger in the future, his ministry has established the Hope Field Initiative, which is supporting clubs with farm inputs for irrigation farming in several districts.
We want to make sure that a farmer shouldn't have an excuse. What we need from the farmer is just the land, which is towards which is closer to water. So that we can promote irrigation schemes. This is what we are doing because this issue of distributing maize, it's a very short term. It's just a temporary support that we are rendering as an essential product to them.
The outreach program by Salvation for All Ministries has positively impacted the lives of 4,000 families, among them the elderly, who have been struggling to feed orphans under their care. Senior Chiefs Nkhani and Kalimanjira have since expressed gratitude for the support of their subjects. The outreach mission by Salvation for All Ministries has reached over 12,000 households in Lilongwe, Salima and Kotakota since the 19th of January 2026. Chipirom Tumodzi, MBC News, Kotakota.
Now in sport, Vanessa Sisters Reserve were on Sunday crowned champions of the inaugural Mukuru Under-21 National Netball Cup after beating capital city rivals Young Eagles by 48 to 35 goals. 12 teams drawn from all the 3 regions of the country were in action during the 3-day tournament at Kuhes Sports Complex in Blantyre. Our reporter Norbert Jameson now joins us live for more details. Welcome to this bulletin. Well, Norbert, I would like to know what do you make of the 3-day tournament, and considering how fruitful the tournament was as far as the development of netball is concerned?
It was quite fruitful. We heard from the organizers, the Netball Association of Malawi, that they had a team of coaches on the ground to identify talent for the Under-21 national netball team as well as the senior team. So after the 3-day tournament, they managed to identify about 40 players, and they said they are satisfied with the talent that has been identified. They were targeting heights because that has been the problem for Malawian netballers over the years. So they said they have identified a number of quality players who are going to be drafted into the Under-21 national netball team. Some of them will go straight to the senior team. And also what to make of the tournament is that we have a new giant on the netball landscape, which is Vanessa Sisters. This is a new team from Lilongwe. They have been in existence for just about 2 years, but they have
made strides.
Yes, because this tournament had reserve sides from the well-known teams. Brigo Sisters had the Young Eagles, Diamonds had their reserve side, Tigresses also had their reserve side, but it is Vanessa, which means this is a team to look out for even when it comes to the senior competitions. Currently in the FDH Premiership, Vanessa Sisters are on position 4, so this means a lot for them.
Well, that's quite encouraging. Now let's talk about football. As Mzuzu City Hammers, we know that they stand Castel Challenge Cup defending champions Mighty Wanderers on Sunday. Did you see it coming, Norbert?
I really didn't see it coming in the first place because you would think Wanderers, being Super League champions, they would go into that game. Actually, they went to do that match as favorites. But facing Mzuzu City Hammers, a team also that is the only team that beat Wanderers in the Super League in the 2025 season. So I expected a tough match, but at the end of the day, I thought Wanderers would go through.
Would make it.
Yes.
Yeah,
but
carry the day.
And talking also of the situation of the match itself, when Zuzu City Hammers had 2 players sent off with Wanderers leading. So you're talking of a team playing with 9 players, the other one with 11 players. So I thought Wanderers were huge.
They had an upper hand.
They would go through easily in that match, but it wasn't meant to be. Hammers put in a strong performance and stunning Wanderers to the shock of many football enthusiasts. Not many expected that to happen.
All right. Now on the continental stage, we hear Morocco has withdrawn as hosts of the WAFCON tournament, which begins just next month.
Yes.
What's the way forward?
It's a setback for the CAF Africa, rather the Confederation of African Football, because like you said, the tournament starts next month and then Morocco withdrawing that as host. What we are hearing now is that the CAF is in negotiations with South Africa that they can step in and host the tournament. South Africa, they say they are willing to take over, but discussions are still underway at the moment, so they will have to confirm if they agree on that. But it looks very likely that it's going to South Africa.
Oh, South Africa is going to step in.
Exactly.
Well, thank you very much, Norbert, for that update.
You're welcome, sir.
Well, that item concludes this edition of news here on MPC. Here is the top stories before we leave. President Mutharika set to hold talks with the Deputy Prime Minister of Luxembourg, who jets in the country today. The Ministry of Education implores Malawi National Examinations Board (MANEB) to administer leakage-free examinations this year. And in sport, Vanessa Sisters Reserve crowned champions of the inaugural Mukuru Under-21 National Netball Cup. Well, keep up to date with our news coverage on our digital platforms by scanning the QR code at the top right corner of your TV screen. You're with me, Sifatim Susa. Thanks for watching and bye for now.
What's your name? Gary, huh? It's my game.
We put everything into this. Those that can do it and succeed, how to fix it.
This city
It
has
isn't
been
just a
my home
cookbook, it's part of
being hit here
with the latest global news and insightful documentary.
transition.
Understanding the
But if you ask them know me. I know they blow trees, only know me.
Greetings everybody and welcome to Career Path. Today we journey to a path that gives hope to people in different ways in the pharmacy world with the CEO of Dream Pharmaceuticals, Mr. Wanangwa Saka. Welcome, sir. How are you?
I'm good, and you?
I'm alright.
Yeah.
So we want to know what really inspired you to be a pharmacist.
Well, pharmacy is an interesting journey. Well, but though I can say though it's an interesting journey, truth be told, I really didn't want to be a pharmacist. I wanted to be more of a doctor. That's why my approach to pharmacy is basically different with the way people take it. Mine is usually patient-centered, like the way doctors do, and mine always have to follow up my clients and my patients. Like I said, growing up, I wanted to be a doctor.